Hey everybody, this is Adam from the Greatest Movies Never Made. I just wanted to let everybody know that we did have some technical difficulties with the recording for this episode, but things corrected about 18 minutes and 30 seconds. Alright? Enjoy.
Welcome back, everyone, to episode 6, The Greatest Movies Never Made. We're back. I'm here, Ryan Presky, joined with my co-host, Adam Spring.
Hello.
Today we got no special guest, unfortunately, but we'll be back to it next time. And
we're good enough for you.
Yeah, today we're going to talk about a little movie called Halo. It was going to be based off of Beyonce's 2008 album, I Am Sasha Fierce, and her hit song, Halo.
See you, Halo.
It was actually going to be about the massively successful video game franchise Halo, and it was to be directed by Neill Blomkamp, but ironically it would have came out in 2008, the same year of I Am Sasha Fierce. So let's all remember that. Let's just start talking about it. I'm not really too familiar with the game. I wasn't the biggest gamer growing up, but
Yeah, that was me.
yeah, my friend here, Adam, he's a big gamer, and he used to play Halo all the time.
Yeah, Halo 3, that was my jam. Me and the boys playing online. I always loved it. Great story, lots of fun weapons, just the alien weapons and stuff. They're all really cool. It was just a really fun game, good time. And I miss it, actually. They need to release a good new version of Halo.
It hasn't come out in a while?
Well, I can't remember the newest one, but they haven't been as good since Halo 3. I feel like that was when that was their peak, I think.
But there have been more.
There have been more, yeah.
And you don't know much about the story. You play co-op?
Most of what I know, I mean, I did do the story in Halo 3 because it was amazing, but pretty much what I know is that Master Chief, who is the main guy, the main soldier of the UNSC, is essentially something to do with Cortana, and I can't remember exactly what it is. I think he's trying to rescue her or something like that.
But you were never into the story mode.
I was, but not to the point where I was like super into the Halo lore. I wish that I did though, because there was so much detail and there's so much story there. They're all really interesting. It's all really cool. But yeah, it was the UNSC basically versus the Covenant, which is the alien army, and that's pretty much the main two sides of the war.
Yeah, you're losing me.
I don't remember much about it.
I was never into Halo. I didn't like the graphics. I didn't like the movements and stuff.
It's been a long time since I played it, probably like 7 or 8 years.
All right, so we're going to jump right into the movie. So in 2001, Halo Combat Evolved helped launch Microsoft's first console, the Xbox. Halo sold over 1 million copies within its first few months and soon became one of the most popular and influential games of its generation.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the first, like, esport. I shouldn't say first, but it was early in the esports scene, too, which is cool. There were a lot of people competing in that. Ninja, the biggest Twitch streamer. He used to be a Halo player.
Who?
Ninja. What do you mean, who?
Never heard of him. So with all that success, it was no surprise that in 2005, Microsoft announced that they would make a film. They signed Alex Garland to pen the screenplay, who was the writer of The Beach, Sunshine, and 28 Days Later. So some pretty big films at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's a little strange that he would do this script. 28 Days Later makes it seem like he could...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a pretty good movie.
Usually Microsoft would sell off the rights of Halo to a studio, and they let them develop the film. But they saw all the potential the franchise had since it was such a huge video game. Instead, they gave Garland a multi-million-dollar deal and later would sell it to a studio. So their plan was to do it all themselves, basically. Mm-hmm. And this strategy was headed by Peter Schlesinger, the former president of...
You got that name wrong, but it's fine.
The former president of...
Say it again?
Peter Schlesinger.
Schlesinger?
Yes. He was the former president of production at Columbia Pictures. And Microsoft wanted to keep the control of the property, like I said, but they had no experience dealing with Hollywood. None at all.
Would this have been their first, like...
Yeah. So signs aren't looking good. for this movie. And this was likely due, they didn't want to give the rights away, likely because what they saw happen to Super Mario Brothers a few years before.
I didn't even know they made a movie about that.
They made one of the most, not highly acclaimed, worst movies ever. So not highly acclaimed.
Horribly acclaimed.
Yeah, I don't even know why we can't think of what it is. Negatively
Poorly
reviewed.
rated?
Yeah, negatively reviewed, poorly rated, whatever. So he formed a plan in June of 2005. He hired a bunch of actors to dress up in Master Chief costumes. So all these actors were in Master Chief armor, and they went to different studios around Hollywood and they delivered scripts to studio heads.
As Master Chief.
As Master Chief, and they would all stand in the doorway. It said on the thing, this is completely confidential. You can only read this right now in the next few hours while Master Chief stands here.
Oh, God. I mean, I don't even know what to say about that. I would be so taken aback if that was me. Bad move, in my opinion.
Well, I don't know if this is what worked, but it eventually did get picked up by a studio.
I guess, but my God.
Interesting marketing campaign.
I thought maybe the Master Chief left and didn't have to stand there the whole time. That's weird.
I just don't think they understood how Hollywood worked, where they were just too scared to leave their script with someone.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of all that, Microsoft wasn't willing to sell the rights very cheaply. They wanted $10 million up front, 15% of the film's gross profits, and 60 first-class plane tickets so their top employees can go to the premiere.
Wow. I'm not privy to Hollywood negotiations, but that does sound a little ridiculous.
That sounds like unnecessary. It's like, okay, get 15% of the gross profits already. It's like, wow. Mm-hmm. I don't know if any studio will do that. I don't know. Maybe they do. But 60 first class plane tickets,
that's kind of just like a fuck you almost.
Yeah, it's like just hope they offer you that.
Fucking tickets.
So eventually a deal was settled with Fox and Universal, coming to an agreement. Universal would sell the film in America, and Fox would deal with the overseas returns. So we don't know if that was the Master Chief, if it was just the demands were met, but it seems like high demands. I don't know. Mm-hmm. $10 million up front. Let's think about it. A Halo game franchise, it has the potential to make hundreds of millions. So I guess that's not terrible.
More than hundreds of millions, if I had to guess.
Well, when we look at the record of video game movies, I don't know.
Oh, are you talking about the movie or the?
Yeah, the movie.
Sorry, I thought you were saying the video game.
No, they weren't going to sell away the video game. Okay, so now after all the deals, after all the negotiations, it was time to attach some filmmakers. In October of 2005, Peter Jackson and his wife, Fran Walsh, signed on as executive producers. The film would have used Weta Digital, Jackson's cutting-edge effects company, and it was set to be shot entirely in Wellington, New Zealand, with a release schedule for summer of 2007.
And this was 2006?
This was in 2005 when Peter Jackson got involved.
Okay.
And at this point in time, it was announced that Guillermo del Toro was going to direct. So the director of Hellboy and Hellboy 2, Shape of Water, which would have been
Shape of Water. I still want to see it.
It's pretty good.
I swear the main character in that is in Hellboy 2. It's like the exact same.
It's the same guy. Well, it's the same actor too.
Is it the same character?
No, it's not the same character.
They look the same too, I swear.
Yeah, you're talking about Ape Sapien and whatever the Fish Boy is called from that movie. But it's the same actor, Duncan. I don't know. I want to say Duncan Jones, but I know it's not. But I said it. Microsoft wanted creative control, but Fox and Universal had their own vision, and Peter Jackson, a self-proclaimed fan, had his own idea of the project. So all four people involved right now, all have their different opinions on where it should be.
No one's on the same page.
Yeah, so it's not looking good.
Already
continuing.
And everything.
And this could likely explain one reason why Guillermo del Toro left the project, because everyone was going different ways.
Yeah.
And he himself is such a auteur filmmaker. He likes to make his films his own way, his own vision. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't like being told what to do. So when that happened, the vacancy in the project, Peter Jackson called to Neill Blomkamp. He hadn't directed a feature film yet. He directed shorts and commercials.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
How would you even know of him?
I love producers like this.
Yeah, that just find the diamond in the rough.
They find the most talented person and are like, I'm going to give you a shot for this huge video game franchise.
That's what I like also about movies that feature less known actors and actresses. Yeah. I love that. And they end up being like amazing.
And they blow up.
I mean, that didn't really happen. We haven't. Yeah, I'll wait until later actually to say this.
So yeah, Blomkamp was selected by Peter Jackson to direct, but a lot of the studio people weren't thrilled with this idea because he's never directed a feature film.
Right.
Being a fan, he accepted. He spent the next 5 months at Weta where he would rewrite the script and he added his own spin and touch. It seemed that Microsoft was keen on sticking closely to the story told in the original video game. With
Like I said, I can't remember. It's been a while, but they have a good story. It is good.
Oh, well, the story is, in the near future, humanity has ventured into space and wound up in a battle with an alien coalition named the Covenant.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what you said, right?
Yeah.
During one fight, genetically enhanced warrior Master Chief winds up on an alien space station where a deadly force called the Flood is unleashed. Any of this ringing a bell?
I think the Flood is like all the aliens, right? That would be. I'm not certain because I didn't play Halo 1. If that's the one they're basing it on, unless it's. Do you know if it's Halo 1 that they're basing it on?
Yeah,
Probably.
the original one.
Yeah, and I haven't played it, but I think the Flood is probably like a lot of those aliens, like that we were talking about earlier, the Brutes, and the Grunts, and all that stuff.
So then it says, this space station referred to as the Halo initially is thought to offer a means of defending Earth from the Flood, although it is revealed to have the potential of wiping out all of the forms of life. So the aliens are here for bad stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not good.
Blomkamp would have brought a future grittiness to Halo with a darker, edgier aesthetic than previous video game adaptations like Tomb Raider or Mortal Kombat. So that's where it could have shined.
Mm-hmm.
Frustrated with the slow progress, Blomkamp produced a short film, which can be found now on YouTube, called Halo Landfall. And according to Blomkamp, Fox chairman Tim Rothman, who officially canceled Stone's Planet of the Apes film, so he's coming back to cancel another project. Rothman hated me. I think he would have gotten rid of me if he could have. The suits weren't really happy with the direction I was going. I played Halo, and I played video games. I'm that generation more than they are, and I know that the vision of Halo would have been insanely cool. It was more fresh and potentially could have made more money than just a generic, boring film. Something like G.I. Joe or some crap like that. And here's my thought on Neill Blomkamp, I want to say. He's only directed 3 films, so we'll start with that. We're going to talk a little bit about the first one, District 9, a bit.
That was his first one?
First directorial debut, which is an amazing film, nominated for an Oscar, great film. But he does not know how to work with Hollywood at all. I've read so many interviews where he talks badly about studios, badly about the head of production.
Yeah, you can't do that.
You can't do that. They're not going to offer you a job, and you see it because he's only done 3 films. Now he's doing a bunch of short films.
Maybe for someone like
Spielberg,
King or something.
Yeah, Scorsese.
Yeah, you gotta have a name first.
But it's just, dude, you gotta work with the system a little bit. Because he came out guns blazing with District 9, and then he went to Chappie and Elysium, and those are both poorly reviewed. And now no one's going to hire him anymore because he's paying too much money for a film and no one's liking them.
It's too bad. District 9 was so good.
Yeah. I think he'll get back eventually, but he just needs to start working better in the studio. So we brought up Halo Landfall. It's the 7-minute video you can find right now on YouTube. It was the short film as camera test by Neill Blomkamp. So it's the closest thing you're going to get to seeing this film.
I think it would have been really cool. I mean, I watched it, and seeing all of the Halo aliens in real life was just awesome. I mean, the scene that you see is kind of out of context. It's kind of just like a battle between the UNSC and the Covenant, but it could be so cool. I mean, there's just so much nostalgia there, too. I think a lot of people would have really liked it.
The first time I watched it, I just thought it was cool looking. Like, I thought it kind of looked like a Saving Private Ryan battle sequence with advanced weapons, but I didn't know what was going on because I haven't played the video games, like I said. I didn't know who any of the people were. I didn't know any of the weapons.
Well, the only person I would know is Master Chief, but like I said before, too, there was no context. It was really just a battle scene, so neither of us really even know what's going on there.
It was a cool battle scene, though.
It was cool, yeah, and seeing all the aliens, I love that, the alien weaponry, all that stuff.
Yeah, so let's just go into like scene for scene kind of what happened. So we see factory equipment making armor and trucks. That's the beginning. It's kind of stock footage-y. Nothing very exciting at the beginning. Except we see kind of the helmets that Master Chief wears and all that. We see soldiers getting their heads shaved, tattooed, and in full gear. And then we jump right into a battle sequence on a war ground. We follow a small group of soldiers who are being monitored from aircrafts fighting an alien army. And they secure some kind of package and ride on an ATV-type car. You know what it's called.
Warthog, I think, is what they were called, yeah.
Warthog. One of the soldiers in the passenger seat is shot, and then he's wounded. They put him on the side, and then we just, like I said, we see advanced weapons, green bullets. I don't know if you know what gun that is.
I can't remember. There were a lot of weapons. I think there was some. It was one of the weaker ones in Halo 3, if I can recall.
Okay, then we see something like some blue knife-like projectiles coming from the aliens. I don't know if you know what those are.
I can't remember. No, there's just so much.
And a sticky exploding axe thing. Those are the ones that caught my eye. Since I didn't play the game, I thought they were the coolest.
Is that the one the humans threw?
No, it was one the big alien threw, and it stuck to the wall. And then the human picked it up and throws it back.
Mm.
In the end, they fall back, and from what I understood, it's kind of unclear if their mission is continuing, if they're successful. And then the very last shot, we see a soldier using like a bazooka to blow up an alien, which I thought was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
The production was in association with Bungie Studios, Origami Digital, and Weta Digital. In addition to sparking the interest of film studios, this short was used as promotional material for then upcoming Halo 3 video game.
Okay, so that's the one I played.
Yeah, and I remember you asked at the beginning, why is it called Halo 3?
Mm.
It's because after all this fell through, they just released it as promo for Halo 3.
Mm.
The shot was announced unexpectedly on July 10th, 2007, and the 7-minute film was released in 3 parts originally: Halo Arms Race, Halo Combat, and Halo Last One Standing, before being edited down together on October 26th, 2007. And something I thought was interesting, there's similar shots to District 9 at the beginning.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
Yeah, like the alien craft just in the air.
Yeah. That's interesting. I didn't even consider that.
So the actual film, it's changed its 2007 schedule, and it moved to a summer 2008 release date. And when asked how faithfully do you plan on staying to the design of Master Chief's armor, Blomkamp responded, "Master Chief is certainly something that I do not want to change too much at all. There are certain things inside the Halo universe that are sacred, and he's the main one. Having said that, there is a need to revise certain parts of him just from a purely technical standpoint. He has to actually be able to move like a human, and the game design right now does not allow for full motion freedom, which we will have to achieve." So again, even there, he's kind of digging into the video game creators a little bit.
Well, no, I kind of back him on that. Like, he's just saying, like, in the video game world, it's just not possible. At the time, at least, it didn't seem like it. In 2008, I guess it was, you said, or 2007. It just wasn't. I mean, if you compared the way a video game character moved to the way a human moved, it would just be obvious. So I think that maybe that's what he was saying. It's just like there's certain things about Master Chief that you would never see him doing in the game, but you'd have to do it when you're acting it because that's the way human mechanics work, if that makes sense. I think that's what he's saying now. Can you read it again to me?
There is a need to revise certain parts of him, just from a purely technical standpoint. He has to actually be able to move like a human. And the game design right now does not allow for full motion freedom.
So I think that's what he was saying. I don't think he was actually taking a jab at the game creators.
I guess, yeah. Full motion freedom, though. Isn't Halo the first game to allow the teabagging in video games?
I think it became popular in Halo, yeah.
So there's a lot of motion.
Well, there, I guess. I mean, but he's very limited.
When asked, would it be a guy in a suit, a CGI creation, or a mixture of both, he responded, "Well, the film has to have a feeling of reality, and so that means that I will keep him as real as much as I can. There is a necessity of him to become CG in sequences where a guy in a suit would just not work. But for the most part, I am aiming for a real person.
Yeah, probably better. I wonder who would play him and if they would show his face. They never show Master Chief's face in the games.
And we're back, everyone. You may be noticing something a little different, and that is because we had some technical difficulties over here. Let's just say someone fucked up, and that was me, and I apologize, but we're going to keep going, and hopefully we're back on track now.
Yeah, the quality should sound a lot better now.
And if you have any more complaints now, deal with it. So in August of 2009, Blomkamp stated that the budget was around $120 million. So a pretty big film for a first-time director.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I would get why the studio would be hesitant.
Interesting because, and I'm assuming we'll talk about this, but District 9 was such a small budget.
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense how small of a budget it was with all the CGI. And...
Yeah, so many special effects. I mean, maybe it's just because the actors were unknown. Anyways, we'll get to that.
Yeah, very unknown actors. The film would have been PG-13 with a possible uncut version for the quote-unquote kill-tacular fans. I think that was a Peter Jackson quote. It sounds like Peter Jackson.
So I'm assuming that just means the gory or more.
Yeah, more gory, more
Yeah.
kills.
Mm-hmm.
In the Hellboy 2 DVD commentary, Del Toro says that he did a design for Master Chief. Can't find it, but that would be cool to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his characters are always cool looking.
Yeah, he always
Well, I
gives
shouldn't
himself
say
a
always.
flair.
I've pretty much only seen Hellboy, but
all the characters in
Yeah.
the franchise are pretty great.
yeah.
I bet you've seen more Del Toro films. Pan's Labyrinth, I swear.
I love Pan's Labyrinth. That's him? I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Love that movie.
Yeah.
Amazing movie.
Yeah, and all those characters are
Mhm.
really weird
Very
and strange.
cool. I love the one, just as a quick side note, if you've seen it, I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
yeah.
Do you remember where she like crawls into that
I know which one
the
you're talking
hidden
about
thing,
for
the
sure.
one with the eyes in its
Yeah.
hands? I love
Everyone
that
loves
one.
him.
That one's so cool.
The Voldo creature.
Yeah.
Voldo. I
From
know
Soul
video game.
Calibur.
Soul Calibur.
Mm-hmm. Great character.
Where my Soul Calibur fans at? Stuart Beattie, who wrote G.I. Joe, The Rise of the Cobra, wrote a spec that was an adaptation of the novel Halo, The Fall of Reach, which is just interesting that he wrote a spec of the script that Neill Blomkamp was going to direct
What
after
what does that mean? What is this spec?
A spec is, it's just his version of a script.
Okay.
So he writes his own script, and he's hoping it gets picked up.
Hmm.
But he wrote, like I said, G.I. Joe, Rise of the Cobra,
Yeah.
and Neill Blomkamp ripped him apart.
Oh, really?
Well, he said, I don't want a movie like a G.I. Joe type movie or
Right,
some
yeah,
crap
yeah.
like that.
That was the one with Channing Tatum, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was quoted, I firmly believe that the first Halo movie needs to be the Fall of Reach story because it sets up all the characters, the world, the Covenant, the big struggle between mankind and the aliens, all that stuff. I just think it's an amazing story about this child that no one cares about and who cares for no one else, who kind of ends up saving all of humanity. Ken Kamins, who is Peter Jackson's representative, said, everyone is supremely confident in Neill. Part of what excited Peter and Fran was Neill's vision. We're very confident this film will move forward with the creative partners intact. So did that happen?
Clearly not.
Don't think so. Didn't happen. So why was the filming canceled? All the reasons are pretty clear. They're pointed
Yeah,
out
all
to
of the
you.
above, pretty much.
Yeah, in October 20th, 2006, Universal and Fox finally pulled out of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when they got out. Jackson's representative said, Universal, on behalf of both studios, asking for a meeting with this filmmakers just prior to the due date of a significant payment. Basically, they said that in order for the movie to move forward, the filmmakers have to significantly reduce. They wanted until the last minute to have this conversation. Peter and Fran respectively declined. So Peter declined for Neill. But it's not that unreasonable. $130 million. You've seen what video game movies have done thus far.
His first movie.
First movie, exactly. If Peter Jackson was going to direct this, yeah, take $130 million.
Yeah.
Guarantee.
Yeah, it's not really much of a surprise, I guess.
No. 20th Century Fox and Universal pulled out. Many speculating, like I said, because the studios never had faith in the director. A lack of confidence helped, but it was dramatic falling out between the two studios that ultimately ended the project. Fox and Microsoft wanted more creative control, like I said, yet Universal had already spent $12 million on months of development. Plus, they hired writers D.B. Weiss from Game of Thrones and Josh Olson to write another script. So they've put in a lot of money already, but Fox wants more control. The film was already budgeted at $135 million, which meant that it had to earn huge profits to make any sort of income. And according to Vulture, this led Tim Rothman, again, the one that canceled Planet of the Apes,
Yeah.
to demand that any deal be torn up and withdrawn immediately. In an interview with AV Club, Blomkamp said, basically the politics between Fox and Universal Fox and Universal crashed the movie. Fox wanted more control of the film, I think, and Universal was in the driver's seat, and they were just going at one another, and finally the whole thing fractured. The project was so fractured that Blomkamp ruled out ever returning to direct a Halo film, and even vowed not to work with 20th Century Fox again.
Oh, gosh.
He said, they treated me like shit. They were just a crappy studio. I'll never ever work for Fox Studios ever again because of what happened to Halo, unless they pay me some ungodly amount of money. And I have absolutely all fucking control.
Probably not a good thing to have said.
Dude, play ball, Blomkamp.
Yeah, I don't back it.
Yeah, why do you think you deserve anything? Why do you think you deserve the studio to treat you like a god?
Like, I understand that it must be frustrating not having any control, but
For
like
sure.
that's when you're a newbie, I think that's probably to be expected, at least to some extent.
Listen, this show is about going through movies that were never made. We talk about a whole bunch of directors, actors that had this shot to be something bigger than they ever could have been. But I'm not reading quotes like this about those people.
Yeah, most of them, and if you are reading quotes for like when they're talking about the movie and the experience they had, they're generally positive, and
Yeah,
it's
trying
just
to
like,
get it to come back.
yeah, it's like hopefully we can get it done in the future or something like, yeah, it just unfortunately didn't work out because of
Yeah.
this and that, but I loved whatever about it.
And we read a lot of quotes like I remember an example one was one of the Joss Whedon ones where it was a lot of bullshit. You could tell there was a lot of animosity between
Mm.
him and the studio where he was mad at them, but he still didn't shit talk the studio.
Respectful, yeah,
Yeah.
professional.
It's just come on, man. I don't know. It just upsets me because he could have been I don't know, he could be doing so much more now, and he's not.
I'm just surprised. I mean, maybe this has something to do with that actually.
It's his
but
it's his attitude.
After District 9, I mean, that's such a good movie. You'd think that he would have done more things, but maybe Fox, for example, wouldn't have worked with him, and he couldn't do anything with them that would have potentially been huge.
Well, Fox, that's a whole studio that's not going to work with you now.
Yeah,
It's huge. You know,
and
how many movies
they're massive. Like, I feel like there's
they are bought now by Disney, but
yeah, well, up until the past couple of years,
10
pretty much
years.
the only thing I'd see is Fox, Disney, or Pixar. That was like the three.
Pixar's Disney too.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like
There's
the
like
three.
Universal. There's a few.
There, yeah, 4 or 5 other like total things that I recall seeing studios, but so like I don't know, how can you completely cut out one of them?
Yeah, it's not smart. So Blomkamp remained under Jackson's production company, and he released the massively successful District 9 on a $30 million budget. So after the Halo project fell through, producer Peter Jackson still wanted to work with Blomkamp.
Hmm.
He didn't shit talk him, and he offered him $30 million to make whatever he wanted.
Hmm. And he made a really fucking good movie.
Yeah, and you got Peter Jackson on your side.
Yeah.
This guy's supporting you. That feels good, I bet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then after that, like we talked about briefly, he followed that with the less critically praised films Elysium and Chappie. So that could explain why he's not getting a lot of work either. High budget films, and they're not. One was great
Mm-hmm.
of the three. In 2015, he was revealed to be partnering with Fox again as he planned for an Alien sequel. Fox again would scrap his project, giving him 2 of the greatest movies never made in his short career as a
Wait,
director.
so they were gonna make another District 9?
No, they were going to make. Okay, well, if you want to count that, yeah, spoiler, there was a possibility of a sequel for District 9. So that's 3 movies Neill Blomkamp
So wait,
almost
sorry.
directed, but did it.
Oh, the Alien. Sorry, yeah, you actually
Yeah,
mentioned it
the
to me
Alien
earlier.
film from the Alien franchise,
Yeah, yeah.
James Cameron. So 3 films that were all taken away from him.
Hmm. And sorry, did you say the Alien one was Fox? That would have been with Fox. Is that what you said, or
I'm
was
not
that
sure
the,
what studio
the new
has it.
District 9 movie? Is that the one you were saying?
Yeah, you know what? Fox does own the Alien franchise. So yeah, it would have been with Fox. So I guess he's forgiven them a bit.
I guess.
So let's talk about District 9. That was his first directorial debut, which is crazy. In 2009, instead of doing Halo, which would have been his directorial debut, he jumped onto District 9.
I mean, probably. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the Halo movie would have been great, but probably
Good
pretty
call.
good. I mean, I guess we haven't seen much of him since then, but
No.
it was a really great movie. I mean, not small budget, but I loved everything about it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it was his first film, and it was nominated for Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Visual Effects, and Best Film Editing. So your first film, you get nominated for Best Director. That's
Mhm.
huge.
He didn't. Did he win anything?
Um,
No Oscars.
no, I think he was just nominated for all of them. I know he didn't win Best Picture. That was the year Hurt Locker won.
Right. Yeah, and all the actors were. I'm pretty sure at least I didn't recognize any of the ones in District 9.
Yeah.
They were pretty unknown. I'm surprised. Like Vicus, I think his name was the main guy.
hmm
Uh, I'm surprised I haven't seen him in anything else because I thought he was really good.
Well-
I liked him a lot.
His name is Charlton Copley, and this was his first major film appearance too. So the first time ever. But I've seen him in films after this.
Yeah,
I think he was in Hardcore Henry.
I haven't seen that.
I've seen him in a few things, but he's really talented. Yeah,
I
his first
like him
film.
a lot. He was so good.
Hmm.
Such a good man. I love that. Probably my favorite movie ever, honestly.
Ever?
One of them at least. Top five.
It's one of the best. I'll 100% say it's one of the best science fiction movies made in the last, what was it, 2009, 10 years, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, it's so good. I love it. And it's honestly it's very relatable to certain like
Very
parts
topical.
of
Yeah.
some politics today. I'll leave it vague, but just say there's a lot of relatable things going on in the US, I guess,
Yeah.
to that movie.
It's pretty intense too with I mean the messages they're putting out there.
Yeah.
It was adapted from Blomkamp's 2006 short film Alive in Joburg, and the film is mostly presented in found footage format, which was kind of new at the time. I mean, not extremely new, but this is one of the best ways they've done it. So let's jump into like the story a bit.
Yeah.
The story begins in 1982 when we see a spaceship appear over Johannesburg full of malnourished insect-like aliens.
Which they refer to as prawns.
Yeah, they're called prawns. They look pretty awesome.
They're really cool looking, yeah.
Now that we say it's a $30 million budget, for the most part, they look really good, but there are times when they don't look in the right environment.
Really? I didn't notice that.
All right, so maybe I'm a little mistaken, but
When can you recall a time?
no,
No.
not exactly.
I thought they looked good, but I mean, yes, like maybe in comparison to today, they would probably look a lot better if they made the movie now, but still they look really good, obviously. I mean, it's only 10 years and $30 million for all the aliens they have to
And the
make
spaceships and all
and the
that.
spaceship. Yeah. I thought the spaceship floating over Johannesburg is just such a cool shot. I
Yeah.
love that.
Well, we'll talk about how they were able to save money in a bit, but let's just keep going with the story. So, after the spaceship arrives, the South African government confines them to an internment camp called District 9. Years later, the government plans to relocate all the aliens, so a bureaucrat named Vicus is assigned with informing the aliens, and he goes to District 9. There we meet an alien named Christopher, who is trying to escape and return home with his son. Vicus goes into Christopher's shack, and he finds this fluid, and it sprays him, and he gets infected, and it starts mutating into an alien.
Yeah, he doesn't realize it at first. He thinks it's just he doesn't even know what it is.
No.
He gets sprayed with it and he's freaking out but then he starts having those symptoms and he starts turning into a prawn.
Yeah, and I love The Fly, so I love this transformation he starts going through.
When the scene where he originally has his cast cut off and he first opens up with an alien hand, I love that. It's so cool. He's like freaking out. It's such an intense scene.
Mhm.
I love it.
So he starts turning into this prawn, and the agency he works for takes him and starts testing on him, forcing him to use weapons, killing other prawns, and he eventually escapes and has nowhere to go but to refuge in District 9. So he goes back to District 9, he finds Christopher, and the two have to go break back into the lab to get the substance.
Fluid.
Yeah.
That's all they call it. The fluid.
Yeah, which they say at the beginning, it's like, oh, he's getting all this fluid, and he says, oh, we need every drop. And then a bunch sprays on his face, and he's like, oh, but let's go get it, and we could still leave with it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess
just a little.
that is a little thing, and I did think about that. But then I thought, I mean, he's been collecting it for 20 years. Maybe he has a little extra more than he needs. You never know. Like
So the last day he was looking, he's just like, I just need a little spare.
well, you
We
never
could go
know.
today.
He doesn't know the exact amount. Maybe I don't know. I'm trying to defend it.
It's just a little point. It's not a big deal. So they find it, they break in, they get the fluid, and before they're about to go back home, Christopher tells Vicus that he has to go before he can fix Vicus.
It'll take him 3 years.
Yeah.
That's what he
He
says.
says, I'll be back in 3 years. I promise, but I have to go.
He needs to save everyone from he when the agency is called MNU. When they're at MNU, they realize when they're stealing the fluid back. Christopher sees all the experiments they've been doing on the prawns and whatnot. So yeah, he's trying to save all of them.
And Vicus is really just upset about this. Doesn't want to let him go, so knocks him down, whatever, steals the ship, and the ship gets blown out of the air. Vicus lands, Christopher, the alien, gets caught, and we see Vicus get in a mechanized battle armor suit and gun down a bunch of people, save Christopher. Christopher gets in the ship with his son. They fly off. Ship's okay now. and Vicus protects them. Really heroic.
The ship wasn't okay. That's not what happened.
It was a different ship?
The mother ship, the son was still in the smaller ship when him and Vicus were trying to get away. You know what you were just saying when Christopher
Yeah,
had already
yeah.
been captured. So he controlled the mothership somehow from the smaller ship to be above them. So he used the mothership to kind of just like suck them up. The smaller ship that they were on was still destroyed.
Oh, okay.
So not a plot hole.
No, okay. But Vicus stays and he's fending off bullets from people protecting them. And then we like cuts out and we don't know what happened to Vicus. And then the last shot, a prawn holding a metal flower type thing. And we're led to believe that's Vicus.
It's pretty well. The
It's
scene
pretty much
just
clear,
before, yeah, because the scene before his ex-wife, I guess,
Yeah.
or wife, is holding that same thing.
Yeah. So he is fully mutated now. Did it say how much time went?
It didn't, but I'm assuming that because I mean Christopher's the man, so he's definitely coming back to save him.
Yeah.
So I imagine it hasn't been 3 years yet, but he's fully transformed.
So he survived though, but he's now a prawn.
Which is it's such a sad movie, really.
I love a bleak ending movie.
Yeah, what doesn't give you like the fully satisfying Hollywood ending where
Yeah.
oh he's back to normal and back with his wife. It's so good that it ends right there, even though it's sad.
If it ended with him becoming fully human again,
It wouldn't be the same movie.
no, I wouldn't be as highly acclaimed either.
Yeah, it's sad, but it's great. And yeah, the transformation. There's a scene at the end where I can't remember his name to be honest, but the army guy, the main villain essentially,
The bald
he
guy.
he kind of rips Vicus out of that mechanized suit of armor that you're talking about, and you see him like pretty much his face is like halfway transformed, or his eyes are halfway
Yeah.
transformed. One of them is a prawn eye. I thought that was such a cool scene. Like half of his shoulder and back is prawn, his arm is fully
For sure.
prawn, one of his eyes are prawn. Just like you can see the transformation happening more and more throughout the movie. I thought that was really cool.
Transformation scenes are my favorite things in movies.
They're so cool, man.
Yeah, they're always great. When they're bad, they're terrible. But when they're good,
This was done really well.
yeah, they're great.
And it was so gradual too, just like over throughout the course of the movie, you
Mhm.
notice little bits more becoming not human, little bits of his body, I should say.
So the film, like we said, it cost $30 million and it grossed 211 million
Wow.
worldwide.
Very good.
Yeah, huge. An interesting fact was that Sony launched a humans only marketing campaign to promote the film, which is just, I don't know, I love interesting marketing campaigns. So they put up billboards, posters, banners, and stickers, all designed to spread, all spread across public places that would say, if you see any aliens, call this number. And they got an estimated 33,000 phone calls.
That's cool.
In 2 weeks.
What's the actual number leading to?
Oh, it's gone now.
But what would it have like? What was it? Just some sort of?
It was like
I
a
mean,
toll-free number they created.
Right, but would it just at that point start being advertising for the movie, or was
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
So early advertising. The film was banned in Nigeria because of the negative depiction of Nigerian characters as criminals and cannibals, as well as the gang leader's name is almost identical in spelling and pronunciation to the former president.
What is it exactly? I can't remember his name. You don't know. The former president, Barack, you mean?
Yeah. It was the former Nigerian president, Barack.
Well, you didn't say Nigerian
Yes,
president.
I did.
Are you sure?
I said the former president, but I was talking about Nigeria and Nigerian, okay, culture. So the former Nigerian president,
Okay.
who I don't remember the name. Sorry. Blomkamp has hinted at a sequel since before the release of the film, so suggesting it would be a prequel. However, he also at one point called it District 10, which sounds weird if that would be a prequel.
That doesn't make sense anyways, because they said that the new encampment they're trying to relocate all the prawns to would have been called District 10.
That's what I mean. That's why
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense to be a prequel.
Yeah.
I think it was just at one point he called it a prequel. At one point he said it would be District 10.
I would have loved to see another movie.
I wouldn't want to say prequel though. What's
No.
a prequel? Their alien race in the spaceship.
Yeah, I guess like it would just I would want to see more of Vicus and Christopher,
Yeah.
those characters.
Maybe see him come back.
Maybe, yeah, or just see him as a prawn even the whole movie. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't be as good, but I'm just so into the story.
Yeah. Sequels usually aren't as good.
Yeah.
The title and film are nods to a real place and incident, District 6, which was a mixed-race neighborhood of Cape Town, which the apartheid government demolished in 1966 to make room for the whites. So pretty heavy stuff. And I think that's why it was so highly acclaimed at the Oscars and by critics.
Yeah, I guess it was pretty relevant
Yeah.
politics-wise back then too.
All of the shacks used. Well, this is what I thought was a little sad, but also interesting with how they saved so much money. All of the shacks used in District 9 were actual shacks that existed in sections of Johannesburg.
Like where people actually lived there?
Yeah, people actually lived there as recent as a few weeks before that. They were actually being moved out
That's crazy.
to better housing by the government, which kind of parallels the whole events of the film.
That's like exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And another kind of sad but interesting thing is a lot of the animal carcasses you see in the shacks and around the junkyard,
Are real?
they're all real, and they weren't even put there.
Wow.
They were actually just there.
already there.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's intense stuff.
That's pretty crazy. I didn't realize. I mean, I know South Africa, Johannesburg in particular, isn't the richest country, but I didn't realize there was such poverty like that.
I think it's kind of bad that they didn't shine a light that they were real shacks. You know, like at the end of the film, like add something like stuff like this is actually happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
These are conditions people are living in. When asked at 2009's Comic-Con if District 9 was a way of showcasing his abilities in a Halo franchise, Blomkamp responded, "I probably wouldn't do Halo even if I was offered, but creatively, I would like to do it. It's kind of like I'd be sad not to work on it, but I would still say no. I worked on it for 5 months. I put a lot of blood, sweat into Halo. Creatively, it's very compelling. I love it. But when you work that long on something and you have to bottom out and collapse, I mean, I got District 9 out of it. I think I'm probably better off because it's more of a personal film. But yeah, I love the world of Halo, but I don't think I'd go back there." But I think Halo and District 9 are very similar in a lot of ways.
I mean, I can see that. Yeah, if you were to compare the Covenant to the prawns.
Well, let's compare it because that was going to be his film, and this was his film.
By the way, I think I called Johannesburg a country before, but I meant city. I mean, the thing is, though, is the Covenant are evil, and they're trying to destroy Earth, whereas the prawns...
What's the Covenant? Is that's
those are the
alien
aliens
race?
in Halo, yeah. The prawns, I keep saying prawns, I mean, not that they're real, so it doesn't actually
Yeah,
matter.
that's fine.
In the movie, they're saying that's the derogatory term, but they never actually say what they would actually be called. The prawns never refer to themselves as anything. So anyways, the prawns are good. Well, I wouldn't say good, but Christopher's good, and they're not necessarily evil by any means. They're
Not
kind of just
inherently evil.
No.
The circumstances they're forced into are making them bad.
Yeah, and there are points. I mean, not that the humans necessarily know everything about the prawns, but there are points where they show them like destroying things and like, oh, this is just recreational behavior for them, even though it's very destructive for us.
It's very real life what they're going for.
Something interesting, by the way, that we hadn't talked about that I do just want to mention, the format kind of the movie, the way it was made in kind of like a half documentary style
half
movie.
like found footage, half
I thought that was really cool. That was really, really good. And at the beginning, they're all talking about Vicus and saying like, "Oh, I never expected him to do this sort of thing," like as if they were like it's obviously that's supposed to be taking place after the whole event, but
Well, the first 20 minutes is the UK version of The Office, and then you start to see all the aliens.
yeah, pretty much.
I do like how it's at first they're just like goofing around. They're like, "Oh, so I'm here."
Yeah,
He doesn't have an Irish accent. But
no, it's not an Irish. It's South African.
sometimes my accents are on, sometimes they're not.
I love the South African accent. Yeah, no, it's funny. The first 20 minutes, Vic is just joking around, and he'll talk about the prawns. It's actually at the beginning I kind of hated him.
Yeah, well, it's because it's super real life. It's like these government people that are talking about these people that live in whatever impoverished
As
areas.
we're talking about them like animals,
yeah,
basically.
like they're nothing.
Like obviously the prawns are pretty jarring in terms of the way they look. Like if you were to see that in real life, you'd obviously, I'm assuming.
Well, they're also
be
not
pretty-
human, right?
Yeah, but so like it's just weird because they can like Christopher, for example, is so smart, obviously. But they're still treating him like shit. It's just The way that he's talking to them at the beginning, prawns are very stupid. I can't even do it. I'm doing fully English accent also. But yeah,
Well, now let's think about it. When we look at alien movies, this is actually a kind of, I don't know, would this be how the Earth would react to aliens if they came down?
probably, like honestly, probably. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, it
It's pretty
seems like
brutal.
anything new that comes into the public eye is generally rejected for a while at first. That's how it's gone over the course of history. So
I wouldn't say this is my number one theory of like from movies, aliens coming to Earth, what would happen, but it's probably up there for realistically what could happen.
hmm like, let's say the aliens aren't coming here specifically to destroy Earth,
Yeah.
which they weren't in District 9.
Exactly. They're not coming to destroy Earth. They're just coming because they need resources, and
Yeah,
then we take that. We don't understand them, so
we'll take advantage of that
Yeah.
and be
we
human
get
about
scared
it.
and we lock them up into like cages.
Yeah, and experiment.
I think the most realistic is Arrival. I don't know if you saw it.
No.
It's pretty good. E.T. I think is kind of realistic too. Just like an alien that gets lost that's stuck here.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe if he found a kid.
I watched Alien a week or two ago, and I weeped like a baby.
Alien?
Oh no, E.T.
E.T.
Oh my god,
That's
it's so
hilarious.
sad.
I haven't seen it in a long time. Why is it sad? He's happy in the end. Well,
Oh,
the
no,
kid
but-
isn't, I guess, but
That scene where he is
dying.
dying, he turns white.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
I remember as a kid.
Elliot kills it.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
Yeah, that killed me as a child. I remember that.
Yeah. All right, so let's jump into. This is gonna be a little easier for you. The Neill Blomkamp Rotten Tomatoes scores. What do you think his highest is?
District 9.
His highest is District 9 with
Obviously.
90%.
90%, pretty good.
What do you think his lowest is? Do you remember the other two I brought up?
You said Elysium, and what was the other one called again?
Chappie.
I haven't seen either, so it's just going to be a complete guess. But let's say Chappie is the worst.
Boom, you got it at 33%, and Elysium
33.
is 66%. So
33, that's bad.
yeah, it's not great. I don't know. I've seen worse. There's some movies I've watched that have like 0%.
Really, eh?
I've watched them just because they're on. So let's get away from that just because that was easy, and let's talk about another little game. Since we're talking about video games, and we're going to talk about some video game movies in a bit, but first, what do you think is the most successful video game franchise? This
Of
is a
all
video
time?
game franchise, not movies
Of all time?
of all time. Top five.
A
if you wanna get.
franchise, not just like one game, but like all the games.
All the games within the franchise. What? Yeah.
Super Mario?
Do you want to do more than one or just
Tell me if is
Super
that,
Mario?
Don't
is
tell me what the first one is, but if I get it.
number 2.
Okay, so number 1. Ooh,
I have the top 4, and then I have where Halo is. So spoiler, Halo's not in the top 4.
Top 4. Okay. Is number 1 Call of Duty?
No, Call of Duty is number 3.
I've guessed 2 and 3. Huh.
You get 2 more guesses, but you might have to speed it up.
Yeah, okay, just tell me.
Are you sure you don't want to? You're going to get number 1. I'll tell you number 4 and keep thinking about number 1. It's pretty
Okay.
obvious. Number 4 is Pac-Man.
Okay.
So Pac-Man, number 4. Call of Duty, number 3. Mario, number 2. Pac-Man has over 14 million. Over 14 billion. Call of Duty has over 17 billion. Mario has over 30 billion. And what has over 70 billion?
It's not Donkey Kong, is it?
Donkey Kong is part of Mario.
Oh. I cannot think of it.
Pika,
Pokemon, really?
Pikachu! Yeah, Pokemon, over 70 million.
And what's number
billion.
2?
Number 2 is Mario at 30 billion.
Really, 70 billion? That much
Double.
more?
Yep.
Holy crap.
Which makes sense. It's huge.
I
and
mean, I guess when it came out, it like literally
Yeah.
took over the world for a while.
it also has its phases, right? Where it comes back huge.
Yeah, like Pokemon Go a couple of years ago.
And Mario went quiet for a bit. He snoozed for a bit.
Yeah, Nintendo kind of took a back seat for a little while.
It's also he's exclusive to Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
So you don't see Mario anywhere else.
You do see, I mean, I think that might be true for Pokemon though, like in terms of, I mean, unless it's yeah, I feel like all Pokemon games are on Nintendo also though,
I don't think so. But Pokemon also has
other than Go,
cards.
right?
They have more opportunities for dolls and toys because there's so many
Yeah.
Pokemon.
That's true.
So that's where all that money comes. Mario has like what 6 characters for action figures, dolls. All right, so now let's talk about some video game films.
Well, wait, where's Halo?
Oh, sorry. Do you have any guess where Halo might be?
Is it top like 50 somewhere.
It's top 50.
Let's say like 35 around there.
26.
Not bad.
Not
Pretty
bad.
good.
It's over 5 billion as of 2015. But I don't know if there's been a game recently. There might
I
be.
can't. I don't. It's exclusive to Xbox, and I haven't been playing Xbox, so
So it's the number 26 most successful video game franchise of all time. We still haven't got a Call of Duty video game movie, and that's number 3. Or a Pac-Man video game movie, and that's number 4.
Call of Duty would be easy to make.
Easy to make. I think they've been discussing it for years now.
Mm.
Probably similar to this, where there's studios and the game company don't want to separate ways or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's talk about video game movies. The highest grossing worldwide, number 1, Warcraft. Number 2, Rampage. Number 3, Angry Birds. 4, Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time.
These are all new.
That's why they're in there. They didn't even make
Mhm.
that much money.
Yeah.
It's just that more people are going to see movies than they did, and ticket prices are so much more. Number 5, Resident Evil: The Final Chapter. Number 6, Resident Evil Afterlife. Number 7, Lara Croft: Tomb Raider. Number 8, Resident Evil Retribution. Number 9, Assassin's Creed. And number 10, Need for Speed. So Resident Evil, killing it.
Killing it, yeah.
It actually is killing it. When you look at video game franchises, it's hands down the most successful.
I've never watched any of them. Are they good?
I haven't watched them either, but I hear they're not that great. I've seen the first one and it wasn't terrible, and I think that's what most people say, the first one's the best. Well, here's what I want to do. We're not going to talk about all 10 of those movies, but I wanted to take what I thought were 4 video game franchises that we had to talk about. We'll talk about the number 1 grossing of all time, Warcraft. Resident Evil, the whole franchise because it's so big. Tomb Raider, because that's pretty big too. And the infamous Super Mario Bros.
Which I didn't even know that was a movie.
That, everyone's trying to hide that from people. No one wants to know it exists. I've seen it, I remember back in I don't know, on TV.
Is it live action?
Yeah, it's real
Oh.
bad.
God.
But before we get into the turd bombs, let's talk about the number 1 highest grossing, Warcraft, in 2016. You played Warcraft.
I still occasionally play World of Warcraft.
And you didn't see it?
I didn't see it. I probably would like it, honestly, just because I used to play Warcraft 3, and there was a lot of story in that I would probably remember.
Call yourself a fan. You didn't even see the adaptation.
Yeah, I need to see it.
Maybe you'd like it. It's on Netflix. I
Netflix?
saw. I was gonna watch it, but I just have no interest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that interested, actually, to be honest. I do
Alright.
like a lot of the Warcraft story, but I have heard it's pretty bad.
I heard it's not terrible. It's just not great.
Maybe it's
Something
probably
exciting.
better for a Warcraft fan.
That's what I heard. If you're a Warcraft fan, you actually will like it. But I don't know the characters at all. It was directed by Duncan Jones, who directed Moon and Source Code. And
Source Code was good.
Moon is great.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen Source Code.
Well, 2 good movies.
I mean, it might be really good. Duncan Jones is actually a really good director. And it starred Travis Fimmel, Paula Patton, Dominic Cooper, Toby Kebbell, Ruth Negga, and Ben Foster. So good cast too. The budget was $160 million. Do you want to guess how much it grossed? The highest grossing video game franchise.
500 million.
$443 million.
And spent 120?
160.
That's pretty good.
It's all right. Look at it like
That's
this.
like
They also
more
put
than
in,
triple, isn't it?
No, it's okay. 160. They also put in at least. Usually it's
Around triple.
whatever the budget is, you times it by 2 for marketing. But let's say they put in at least $40 million for marketing, so $200 million altogether, and it only made 434. So it's double.
True. Just over
It's still
double.
good. It
Yeah.
can still have a sequel, but almost all of it was overseas too. And at one time, Sam Raimi was attached as director. So again, another
Spider-Man.
film taken away from him.
Yeah.
Now let's step away from that and jump into Resident Evil. So the first film was in 2002, then Apocalypse in 2004, Extinction in 2007, Afterlife in 2010, Retribution in 2012. And do you think I need to go on? Yeah, I do. One more. The Final Chapter in 2016. Oh boy. I don't know if who could keep up with this franchise.
How many is that? 7?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Because there's more than 7 games, more
Yeah.
than 6 games, obviously.
There's also a lot of animated films that I
Hmm.
didn't count.
I was just wondering if they were going with the games. The games are all great.
It's a great, yeah. Well, listen, a lot of people. It's weird to talk about, but Video game movies don't work because they're supposed to be enjoyed as a video game, right?
Yeah.
So all these games, all these movies that are based off games, the games are great, but the movies aren't.
Probably also something that adds to that is I I feel like the targeted audience for most of them is
Gamers.
the players.
And they don't go out to see movies.
Ever.
No, I don't mean like that. It's just like, no, for real.
But I mean, just saying, even if all of the players went to see it, it might just not be as interesting to the public.
But that's what they need.
Yeah.
For it to make a profit, they need all the gamers to go out to play it, and
Yeah.
all the gamers don't go out to play it. Unless it's a video game movie like if a Pokemon movie came out, which there's going to be one coming out in this year, that movie's going to crush it because everyone knows what Pokemon is. Even if you don't play it, you know what Pokemon is, and you'll go see it. But if like a Call of Duty movie comes out, unless it's a really great war movie, it's not going to do well. It's going to, like, for real. Because Call of Duty fans aren't going to just rush out to go see it.
Well, at this point, also, Call of Duty's like dying. But I mean, I guess that's just an example. But yeah, probably not.
Well, if we got a movie of like Ninja just flossing, people wouldn't rush out to go see it, I don't think.
I mean, we saw what happened at New Year's, so do you know what I'm talking about? The clip of him on New Year's trying to get people in Times Square to floss, and literally no one does it.
It was a good time, I bet.
Pretty cringy video. I felt so bad for him. He handled it pretty well, if you know what I'm talking about.
He didn't handle it that well.
He was kind of just like laughing.
Listen,
about
let's get away from this guy.
Okay.
So the franchise stars Mila Jovovich as the main character. She's in all of them. Michelle Rodriguez, Matthew J. Taylor, and James Purefoy. And it's directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. He directed the first one and 4 through 6. And he also directed Mortal Kombat and Death Race. So he's got a vibe.
Death Race. I think I saw that. Is that the one with
That's the one with Jason Statham.
Jason Statham? Yeah, I liked that movie, even though it's kind of like stupid.
I'm Jason Statham. If you need anything transported, you come to me.
That's pretty good. Pretty good. Not even kidding. Yeah, I liked Death Race.
Yeah, Death Race is all right. The budget was for all 6 films, $288 million. Do you want to know how much it grossed?
6 for 288. That's pretty low.
Not bad. It started in 2002 and it was a lot cheaper then.
I don't know. Let's say $1 billion.
1.23 billion. So
Pretty
that's
good.
good. And an interesting fact: it is the most live-action film adaptations of a video game, and it's the highest-grossing film series based off a video game.
And this is
Resident Evil.
Resident
So all
Evil,
6
yeah.
films. It's better than any video game franchise movie adaptation, which there isn't a lot, but there is.
Well, there's also been the most of them.
Yeah, so that's why. But still, I think most of them have made a profit, if not all of them made a profit. I'll get into the Rotten Tomato scores of them all. The first one, 34%. The second one, 21%. The third one, 22%. The fourth one, 23%. The fifth one, 31%. And the sixth one, 36%.
So pretty crap.
I mean, not the most highly acclaimed. It's an average tomato score of 28%.
Yeah, I was gonna say around that.
Still, it made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Who cares? That's all overseas dollars, too.
Don't need to be good to make money.
It's Mila Jovovich crushes it. Seriously, she crushes
She's
it.
the main character, right?
Yeah. She's box office gold. I'm telling you. She makes bank.
She reminds me of Charlize Theron, kind of.
Yeah. But she is, oh my God, she is like, I looked it up recently. She's in her 50s.
Really?
And she looks like she's 25.
Yeah, she does not look like she's in her 50s.
She's drinking that child blood or something. she's like got to deal with the devil.
Let me see.
I'm telling you, she's in her 50s and she looks young.
Oh my god. She does not look... Well, it says she's 43 here.
Oh, well, that's probably
Still.
right. Sorry, correction, she's
She
43,
still
but
looks
still.
a lot younger than 43.
Yeah. You know what it also is? It's also she's been in my mind for so long since I was a kid. 'Cause one of my first early comedy movies was Dazed and Confused, and she was like a young teen in
Yeah.
that. So that could be it.
That was a great movie.
That in May 2017, a reboot was announced, and in December of 2018, Variety reported that Johannes Roberts would write and direct. Another fact: the whole franchise was originally set to star Sarah Michelle Gellar. Guess what?
Probably good they didn't.
Yeah, you put Sarah Michelle Gellar in there, you think you're going to make Mila Jovovich money? No.
No.
No
Probably
way.
not.
And now let's get into the next, I don't know, maybe longest lasting franchise of video games, Lara Croft. Lara Croft Tomb Raider in 2001, The Cradle of Light.
That was Angelina Jolie,
Yeah.
right?
The Cradle of Light in 2003, the sequel, and Tomb Raider the reboot in 2018.
Which I never saw. I don't think I've seen any of them, to be honest.
It was a bomb. They don't do well, these
Mm.
video game movies. It's sad.
Even with Angelina Jolie.
Those ones did okay
Yeah,
because of Angelina's star power at the time.
yeah.
Or like she was huge. So the first one starred Angelina Jolie, and the second one was Alicia Vikander.
Oh, wait, it was a different Lara Croft in the second one? It wasn't
No,
Angelina?
Angelina Jolie was in the 2001 Tomb Raider and the sequel, The Cradle of Light. But there was a reboot in 2018,
Okay, yeah,
and that one starred Alicia Vikander. And she's a really talented actress, but I guess that's not what people want. They want some tits in their Lara Croft.
I mean, that's kind of... I mean, not to seem like a pig here, but that's kind of part of Tomb Raider's thing.
It's kind of gross how much it's a part of. When you look at, there was a stat where they made Angelina Jolie, who's like a D cup, wear padding in her bra so she could be more
What?
like the video game. Because in
Yeah.
the video game she's like an E cup or something.
Yeah.
It's gross.
It's very sexualized in the game. Lara Croft's supposed to be so sexy and, like,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
I didn't see Alicia Vikander's either, but just looking at her, she's like a skinny athletic girl. She's not like Angelina Jolie, like how she looked when she was in the first one. The budget was 115 million for the first one, 95 for the second one, and 94 for the third.
It's pretty expensive.
And it grossed like double maybe for each. 275 million for the first. That's not great. When you look at the advertising too,
Mm-hmm.
156 for the second one. So I guess Angelina Jolie's didn't even make that much money. And 273 million for the reboot. It was the 11th highest grossing action film with a female lead, the first film. For the reboot, Emilia Clarke from Game of Thrones, Daisy
Khaleesi.
Ridley from Star Wars, and Cara Delevingne from modeling were all considered for the lead role of Lara Croft.
Daisy Ridley's good.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. I don't think any of them would have changed
Probably wouldn't
the
have,
outcome.
no.
So they're fine that they weren't in it. And now let's talk about the big fart box of the group, Super Mario Bros. In 1993. It was directed by Annabelle Jakin and Rocky Morton. And here's what I want to say about two directors right away. Not a good idea. The only time it works is if they're a brother-sister, brother-brother, sister-sister, husband-wife duo. Only time.
Yeah, I can't comment too much on that, but I'm assuming it clearly, I guess clearly it didn't work out so well, so
Well, it has a Rotten Tomatoes average score of 14%.
that's the worst I've ever heard.
It stars Bob Hoskins as Mario, John Leguizamo as Luigi, and Dennis Hopper as King Koopa. So the budget was $42 million. How much do you think it made?
70 million.
$20 million.
Are you serious? It lost money?
Lost money.
Oh man, you wouldn't even think that, like, just with a name like that, you'd think they'd at least make their money back.
You think how is it even possible it doesn't make $40 million opening weekend with Super
That's
Mario
crazy to
Bros?
me. Yeah.
It was that bad that it lost money.
Fuck. What studio is that? Do you know?
No, I don't know. But I do know that this film caused Nintendo to never produce another live action film again. So they went for it and they never tried again.
Yeah, probably a good call.
They even had a Metroid film that was planned right away but was canceled after this film.
That would probably have been way better than Super Mario Bros. It just makes way more sense in terms of a live action film than Super Mario Bros. Metroid.
You said it. Instead of a live action film, Super Mario Bros. Needs to be an animated
it
film.
can't be live action.
Yeah, it could, but you go for animated first.
I mean, yeah, it could be, but exactly. Like, it just makes way more sense to me as an animated film. Metroid would be cool, probably, as live action.
Yeah. You know what would be cool as a live action? Fox.
Oh, yeah. What's it actually called again? Star Fox?
Star Fox.
Yeah, he's
That'd
cool.
be dope. Another funny thing, the character's name in the film is Mario. And that means Luigi's name is Luigi Mario.
That's so stupid.
They make his last name Mario. So he says, "My name's Mario."
Why?
In his 2007 autobiography, Leguizamo admitted that he and Hoskins hated working on the film and would often drink on set and would be drunk in scenes. Hoskins also didn't know that he was making a film based on a video game.
God.
The biggest video game
How?
franchise of all time. Now Pokemon overcame through it, but still. And there was Tom Hanks was considered for the role of Luigi,
Thanks.
but
Thank
after
you for not doing it.
yeah, no, well, after the studio didn't want him after the financial flop of Turner and Hooch. So thank God the studio didn't want him.
Was that a Tom Hanks movie?
Yeah. And Arnold, Kevin Costner, and Michael Keaton all turned down the role of King Koopa. So some other people that could have been in it. It's bad. I've never sat through the whole thing. I've seen it, parts of it on TV, and it just looks so weird. It looks like a Tim Burton Gotham City, so like the early Batman films, but with Super Mario and just way more foggy and in Chinatown. It's like all just taking place in this weird area. None of it is in a colorful like forest or anything like
Yeah, you need to have like the castle, like the what is it called?
yeah, like kind of the level backdrops. You have to have something like that.
Yeah, you
it's
need to
all
go
in
to
the
the
city.
you need to be in the Mushroom Kingdom. Like, come on.
You don't put it in a city.
Yeah, like,
That's the
what is
worst.
this?
I mean, so that's what we're gonna talk about with video game movies. Do you want to let's talk about the Rotten Tomatoes of it. So the top 10 highest grossing ones. Try to remember these: Warcraft, Rampage, Angry Birds.
Rampage is the one. It just came out a
Dwayne.
few years ago. That's with like the giant lizard, the giant
Yeah.
monkey, and the giant
Yeah,
other thing.
it's a gorilla. So
Gorilla, ape.
we just went over an episode last week. Don't get me on ape rights.
Okay. Sorry.
Prince of Persia, Resident Evil: The Final Chapter, Resident Evil Afterlife, Tomb Raider, Resident Evil Retribution, Assassin's Creed, and Need for Speed. So I already gave you some tomatoes. So you might be a little at an advantage here. What do you think is the highest rated of all those?
Well, I'm pretty sure you said Warcraft, right?
Nope, I didn't.
Oh, that was
say.
the highest grossing. Highest rated. Assassin's Creed?
Rampage.
Rampage.
DJ got it. Highest grossing. It's because people love DJ.
Yeah, well, Dwayne, everything he does, it just
Yeah.
it just kills it.
I haven't seen it. I was gonna see it, but then it looked so stupid, and I just watched Skyscraper, and I was like, Dwayne, you're not gonna get me twice.
I loved the video game Rampage back
Oh,
on
it's
Nintendo
great.
64. It was such a good game.
And these are also the type of video games you make into movies,
Yeah.
because these are the ones that could work. The other ones, people have too much attachment to the game, the stories, so they
Yeah,
don't want to see it.
no one, there's no even
Yeah.
like story to Rampage.
They want to play it. But a game that has no story, where it's just an ape smashing shit and you create the story,
Yeah.
that's what you do.
It's kind of like, I feel like it would kind of just be like a more cartoony version of King Kong, though.
Yeah.
No?
I'm gonna see it when it comes on Netflix. Trust me, I'm watching it immediately. But I don't care that much to go pay for it or anything. Lowest rated.
Well, Super Mario Bros.
It's not
Oh,
in the
it's
top
on
10.
the list. Yeah. Oh, maybe actually that's Assassin's Creed. I heard that it was terrible.
You're right. It's Assassin's Creed. I thought you weren't gonna get it because you just guessed it was the highest rated.
Yeah, I now thinking about it, that was a stupid guess for the highest rating because I heard that it was absolutely awful.
It has a 17% on Rotten Tomatoes. It is not great.
Oof.
And of the top 10 highest grossing video game adaptations, the average tomato score is 31% per film.
Wow.
The genre is not doing well. Not at all. And it's unfortunate because there's so much good material that could be used from video
Mhm.
games. Do you have any video game movies you like? I'm trying to think about any I could like.
I've definitely seen some. Like trying to, but like here's the thing. Clearly, I don't like them that much if I can't even remember what they are.
I could sit through Mortal Kombat. Like, that's about it.
I haven't seen Battle Royale. I would like to see that.
That's not a video game movie.
I
though.
know that all the Battle Royale video games are based on that movie, kind of.
The Chinese film.
Yeah,
Oh, it's so good.
I want to see that.
I can't believe you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I kind of need to.
It's
Me
really
too.
good. It's like the original Hunger Games too.
Yeah, it's just like everyone battling out to see who
Yeah.
the last person standing can be, right?
Yeah, it's like a rated R first Hunger Games.
I didn't
If you're
see
talking
Hunger
about the
Games
film.
either.
You haven't seen? I've only seen the
No.
first one. I didn't love it, so I didn't jump into the franchise. So let's jump in and talk about the year of film in 2008 when the film Halo would have came out. The highest grossing films of the year: number one, The Dark Knight with over $1 billion, just
Great
over
movie.
$1 billion. Still, it might be considered the best superhero movie of all time. Best Batman
Really?
movie for sure.
Yeah.
People love Batman Begins. I actually like Batman the original.
I
89.
didn't really get into them until The Dark Knight.
I still think The Dark Knight is a better movie, but I like Michael Keaton more than Christian Bale as Batman.
Yeah, I love Christian Bale.
I like more of a lighthearted one.
Yeah.
I love the Adam West Batman movie.
That was pretty much like half comedy, wasn't it?
It was basically all comedy. It's like 5% superhero. And I loved it. It's good for the time. It's cheesy. I don't know if it would work now, but I like it.
These days, I feel like they all used to be like that, and nowadays
Yeah,
superheroes are getting a lot more serious.
Yeah.
And I like the seriousness more. The when they like rate superhero movies they always end up being so good, I find.
No, I like the seriousness too and how it seems very real, like in a real world. But I still think there's a place for cheesy, fun superhero movies. That's what I'm hoping for Shazam. You know? Captain Marvel's coming out this week. I don't think it will be cheesy fun. I think it will be a little serious. But then Shazam comes out in a month or so. And I think Zach Levi's could have a lot of fun with it.
What? I don't even know what Shazam is.
Well, we'll check out the trailer after this. We'll huddle around your computer and watch it. So number 2 of 2008 was Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull at $787 million.
Was that the one with
Shia LaBeouf. Yeah.
Pretty crap movie.
Yeah. Well, it's the one everyone talks about killed the franchise, even though they're doing another one.
I mean, Harrison Ford was old at the time.
He's coming back for the next one.
Really? Like, I just cannot picture him punching someone in the face and it doing anything.
There hasn't been a lot of information on it, so it's possible that it's kind of... A lot of people are guessing it's going to be a prequel kind of thing where he might be in the beginning talking, and then it's like a flashback of young him with someone else playing him.
Yeah.
Number 3 was Kung Fu Panda at $632 million. Number 4, Hancock, $624 million.
I was just going to say about Hancock. That's the Will Smith movie, right?
Yeah, Will Smith superhero movie.
I loved that movie, but I was really young when I saw it. I feel like it's actually bad.
I liked that movie a lot when I saw it too. But I have rewatched it not too recently, but not too long ago.
Not great.
It's not bad. It's not the greatest, no. Number 5, Mamma Mia at $610 million. And then rounding up the top 10 from 6 through 10, Madagascar, Escape to Africa, Quantum of Solace, Iron Man, WALL-E, and The Chronicles of Narnia, Prince Caspian.
Forgot about like half these movies.
Yeah, the most interesting thing is Iron Man is beaten by Hancock, Mamma Mia.
Was that the first Iron Man?
The first one.
I mean, I guess it makes sense because that's really what blew the whole Marvel universe up.
Okay. It wasn't a built-in franchise. You know what? And it's also, I said Mamma Mia is $610 million. I don't have what the rest of them were, but when I looked at them, they were all within like 600 to 500 million. They were all pretty high up there. Other notable films of the year: Sex and the City, Twilight, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Gran Torino, The Incredible Hulk, Marley and Me, Tropic Thunder, Cloverfield, Step Brothers, Pineapple Express, and Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
There's a few good ones in there.
It's a pretty good year for comedy.
Yeah, Tropic Thunder. I haven't seen that in so long. I love that movie.
Everyone loves Step Brothers, right?
Yeah, it's great. It's amazing.
It's stupid, but it's great.
It's so funny.
I love Pineapple Express.
Yeah, we saw that in theaters together.
Yeah. And Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Super funny, too.
I liked that movie a lot, too. What's the guy's name again? Why can I not think of it?
Jason Segel.
Yeah, Segel.
Yep. And we got Twilight, so all great comedies.
I'm not going to lie. When I was that age, I did like Twilight.
That's crazy.
What was I like? I guess I was about 13 around then.
Slumdog Millionaire wins for Best Picture at the 81st Academy Awards. And 45 days after its release, Dark Knight reached $500 million domestically, becoming the second film in history to ever hit that milestone after Titanic. It's been broken since, but still, that's a pretty big milestone. Only 2 films. And it's the 4th film in history to gross over $1 billion at the global box office.
Wow.
It took its time. It had to do a re-release the next year to cross $1 billion, but it did. And Mamma Mia became the highest grossing film in UK history until it was surpassed by Avatar.
Avatar.
That's what I'm telling you, UK has some weird, interesting film. Your brethren.
My brethren.
They go crazy for the James Bond.
My bruvs, you mean?
Yeah.
The Bruvland.
Which I get. Hey, yo, don't talk shit about my bruv. It's me, Jason Statham here.
I don't think he's Is he
Don't
English?
even say it. Yeah, yes, he's English.
Are you sure?
What do you think he is?
I feel like maybe he's not.
You little tallywagger. You better not tell him not English.
He is
Better
English.
not
For
put
some
that
reason, I
rumor out
thought
there.
maybe he was from somewhere else.
You bloke. Some deaths of the year. Heath Ledger died, and he also won the Academy Award for his role as Joker that year after his death. Roy Scheider, who is the lead from Jaws.
The back to Heath Ledger. Do you think he won because he died?
This is a very controversial and interesting topic.
Everyone knows that he played the Joker amazingly. There's no doubting that. But do you think that had something to do with it?
I'd be lying if I said it didn't put thought in people's mind. I don't think. I think voters had that in their thoughts,
Especially
when they were
because
voting.
the rumor was that he got so into the character that it like drove him crazy. I mean, I don't know how true that is, but I remember hearing that all the time.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd have to right now actually look at who was nominated to see if he deserved, if I knew those roles. But just watching the movie on repeat, it's one of those roles that you're like, oh, he should get nominated and win.
Yeah, I remember even when watching it, I was amazed by how good he was.
But the only reason I'm kind of hesitant on saying no is because, like I said, we've said it before, you rarely see actors get nominated for a role in a superhero movie. Did they only nominate him because that he's passing? But it's also superhero movies were very different in 2008, right? They weren't part of a shared universe. They could be serious dramas that aren't big blockbusters necessarily. But I don't know. Also, Charlton Heston died. Planet of the Apes, obviously. Ollie Johnson, who was the last surviving member of Disney's 9 Old Men, who were animators from Snow White to The Rescuers. They animated all those films.
The OGs.
Sidney Pollack, director of Out of Africa and Tootsie. George Carlin, huge comedian.
Huge comedian, yeah.
He was in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Bernie Mac, another big comedian, also Ocean's 11, a bunch of films. Isaac Hayes from
South
Chef.
Park?
Yeah, he's also Chef from South Park, yeah.
He died?
Yeah, about 11 years ago.
I didn't know that though. How did he die?
I don't know, but remember that episode of South Park where you see Chef die?
Yeah. Is that when it happened?
That was like a week after he actually died. They did it.
Fucking love those guys, even though that's so fucked.
Well, do you know why he left the show?
He let it was something to do with Scientology and them
Yeah.
making fun of it and all that stuff, yeah.
We're not gonna get in. We're not even gonna touch that. But well, we can touch it. Yeah. No, let's not touch it.
Why not?
No, not yet. Not yet. I don't want to be silenced in any way from people. Where is Shelley Miscavige?
So how did he die? Do you know?
No.
Huh.
It wasn't anything too crazy. I think he was sick or something.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't old though by any means, so.
He wasn't young.
I mean, I don't actually know his age, but I've seen videos of them when they were still creating the show. I mean, he probably was in his 30s or 40s.
No. He was in his 50s or 60s.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Paul Newman from Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. And that's like kind of the big names of that year. A lot of people. Some film debuts. Chadwick Boseman in The Express. He is Black Panther.
Oh,
He's T'Challa.
yes. What was he in?
The film was called The Express. Jessica Chastain was in Jolene. Felicity Jones was in Flashbacks of a Fool. Jennifer Lawrence in Garden Party.
I like Jennifer Lawrence.
Rooney Mara in Dream Boy. And Margot Robbie in Vigilante. So some big names to debut.
Margot Robbie. Wasn't she just in something?
She's The Wolf of Wall Street. Harley Quinn.
Okay, yeah, okay.
She's in a lot of stuff. I, Tonya. She's crushing it now. And also the Marvel Cinematic Universe is formed.
So that's when Iron Man was, right?
Yeah. So Iron Man started it, and
Yeah.
then followed by the Hulk. But still, it's the biggest film franchise of all time.
It's leading by quite a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, we went over it a few times. It has almost double, I think, or double what Star Wars has, which is number 2.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's probably like, honestly,
been
I
11
attribute
years.
that, like 50% of that to Robert Downey Jr.
No.
Not the money, like, I just mean it becoming as popular as it is.
I'd contribute a lot of it to Jon Favreau, who is the director of Iron Man.
Well, yeah, okay, obviously. But I'm just saying, like, his character, his Iron Man,
Yeah.
like, I think that's 50% of the reason why it became so big is because of the way he played Iron Man in that movie.
Yeah, yeah. People love him. I don't know if for how much longer, but they still love him now.
Well, he's got at least one more movie in him.
I think he'll stay around. I don't think he wants to leave. I
Why
think the
would
rest
he?
of them are going to be gone.
He's got the best deal in the world.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do any movement. He just sits in a robotic
Yeah,
CGI
he just
suit.
voices it,
Yeah.
and he gets paid ridiculous amounts of money.
That's why they might kill him, because
Yeah.
it's not worth it for them.
Hmm.
So he might have to take
It
a
might
cut,
be, though, because, I mean, they're making tons of money.
but they can make money without him. They've proven
I
it.
guess at this point,
Yeah,
yeah.
they've proven it. TV shows: Breaking Bad, Sons of Anarchy, True Blood, and Star Wars: The Clone Wars all premiere.
I never watched Clone Wars. Is it good? Do you know?
I tried to get into it. The problem with Clone Wars is everywhere I look online, it's like, oh, you can't watch it from season 1 down. You have to watch season 2, episode 3, then go to season 1, episode 1.
That's annoying.
It's like, yeah, it's not in chronological order. I'm like, I can't deal with that. That's way too much.
Yeah.
So I've put it on before, and I usually just fall asleep right away or turn it off. I don't like the animation to it. That's my problem.
Yeah, I was never into that. Breaking Bad is probably, in my opinion, the best show ever made.
Yeah, well, it's arguably, yeah.
I mean, if not the best, top 5
It's
at
an easy
least.
fight to make that it's the best show ever made.
Yeah,
I'm not going to
I
disagree
think
with
so.
you. I just don't know if I could say Survivor's not right now.
I mean, I think one of the only things that would compete with it is maybe like The Sopranos or something like that.
Yeah, that's what most people say. A lot of people say The Wire, which I haven't seen.
I never watched it.
George Clooney has made a UN messenger of peace. So, big day in the movie world
Why?
because he's George Clooney.
I guess everyone just thinks he's the most handsome man in the world, all the world over.
Are you going to make fun of George Clooney now?
I'm not making fun of him.
I was trying to do a Clooney impression, but I don't think it worked.
I d-
Are you going to make fun of George Clooney
I
now?
didn't get that at all.
That's not him? I'm George Clooney.
Oh, that was him.
I did not have sex with that woman. That's George Clooney, right?
Yeah.
Usain Bolt breaks the world record in a 100-meter sprint, and Michael Phelps breaks the world record for the 400-meter, whatever. He breaks a bunch of records that year. And Lady Gaga debuts her album, The Fame.
Which one's that?
It's her album, the big one, the first one.
Is that one with like
Poke, poke,
poker
poke, poke.
face?
Yeah, probably.
Carry my.
But I don't know. It's brought up because she just won the Oscar.
Yeah, for that was for A Star Is Born, right?
I'm on the
Did she win, or did the movie win an Oscar?
She won. She won the Oscar because she won for Best Song, and she
Oh.
wrote it. So I think she's one award away from her EGOT.
What's EGOT?
It's Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony.
Oh, yeah. So what does she need?
I think she needs a Tony.
Oh.
Right? Yeah.
That's for a play.
She has an Emmy for American Horror Story. She's got to have a Grammy.
Emmy is just for TV shows,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Okay, so Emmy, she just got her Oscar, and
She needs a Tony.
what is the Grammy for? Just I guess one of her albums.
Yeah, she's got to have a Grammy.
Yeah.
There's no way she doesn't. And Barack Obama becomes the first African American to be nominated for President of the United States.
And he won.
What was his slogan? Hope?
No,
Believe.
it was like, for some reason I think it was like Yes We Can, but no, that's not. That
Yes, we can.
Was that, or what,
Yes, we can.
was it Yes We Can?
Yes, we can.
That's what it was, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, we can. Yes, I think it was. So yeah, that's the year of 2018. I mean, 2008. Big year for movies. I mean, really looking back, it could be seen as one of the biggest years of movies of all time, simply because it's the beginning of the MCU, right? Like when that all comes to an end, however much money it made, however big of an impact it has, the one date you're going to look back as the most impactful is going to be the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And it also killed Indiana Jones, so big year.
Yeah, although I will say there's one scene from that movie that I'll never forget that I love.
Let me guess.
Guess.
The nuke scene.
Totally forget it, so no.
Okay, then I don't know.
There's a point where a guy gets eaten alive by a bunch of ants.
I know what you're talking about. That's whack that you loved it. It was fine.
I mean, when I was a kid, I just thought it was so cool. And it's just I've always remembered it.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about Indiana Jones another episode. That would actually be fun. I I have mixed feelings on Indiana Jones. We'll talk about it another time.
I haven't seen the original since I was like for a long time. I will have to rewatch those for sure.
Yeah. I watched them for the first time like last year, and they're okay.
Yeah. Or Raiders of the Lost Ark isn't as great as everyone says.
They're all good. It's just that they're films of a different time, and you
Yeah.
could see it. I don't know. It just seems they seem a little dated to me and weird.
The music though.
That's what's the best. That's 100%. When I'm in it, I'm like, oh my god, this score
Yeah,
is
it's so good. I was just singing it in my head.
Yeah, it's really great, but I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. Okay, let's wrap this up. Let's end this episode. So, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Adam, for coming. Thank you, me, most importantly.
Yes, thank you.
If you guys have any comments, concerns, any suggestions for next week, as always, you can email us at thegreatestmoviesnevermade@gmail.com. Follow us at nevermademovies on Twitter. If you want to keep posted with my life, you could follow me at Ryan Presky1 on Twitter, Ryan Presky on Instagram. And my good friend Adam, you have anything you want to plug?
I'm not too active on social media, but if you're into video games, you can check me out on Twitch at twitch.tv/dem_bz, DEM_BZ.
Yeah, and if there's any big updates in my life, in Adam's life, or the show's life, it's going to be on my Instagram and Twitter anyway. So if you need Adam updates, follow me on Twitter. I will keep you updated on what is going on in the life. Thank you so much, and have a lovely day.
Thank you.